Hey guys, welcome back. I'm excited to be back here today. Want to go over what we saw on Monday Night Raw. What we learned from it, we got some ideas of where storylines are going through this edition of Monday Night Raw. So let's dive right into it, right? This was the Raw after Mania. Usually a good show. We usually get some call-ups, some surprises, and we did get some of those last night. We started off the show with a long segment. It had Cody Rhodes first. Before that, Triple H came out. I wondered if there had been some speculation that there might be a new title for Cody. There was not. That's okay. But what Triple H did have was it was a great video package that had been put together for Cody that he wanted to share, not just with Cody, but everybody else. And it was a very emotional video package. If you guys haven't seen it, you really should. It was well put together, and I'm glad that they did share it with everybody. Then The Rock came out, and as someone had speculated, The Rock is eventually going to be chasing that title. That's what it's going to come down to. Not right away. He's taking some time off. My guess is he has some commitments, whether that's a movie commitment or what it might be, but he has some other commitments for the moment that is going to take him away for a little while. Potentially SummerSlam, maybe. That's the next biggest premium live event that they have going on, and that is probably where they will have Cody take on The Rock. As for his next challenger, if there is one when they head to France for Backlash, I don't know entirely either. They could do a rematch against Roman, potentially, but even Roman has been working a more limited schedule, so I don't know that that's the route they necessarily go. I know that there was video on some social media with Roman getting back into practicing and whatnot, training. So he is not finished with Cody either there. We will see where that goes as far as who the immediate next challenger is. For the moment, they did then announce that there would be a 4-person match to determine who would be going after Damian Priest. We will get into that later once we talk about that particular match and who the 4 competitors are in there. Now, at the end of this segment, the one thing that I don't know if we will ever get answered, The Rock reached inside his pocket, completely had his fist covered, so there was something in there. And then Cody's hand completely covered it, so you could not see what was being transferred there, if there really was anything. I don't know that we will ever find out for sure exactly what it was, because Cody then put that in his pocket, whatever it was. I don't really have even any guesses. It fit inside a hand. There was nothing that stuck out at all or anything, so you really couldn't even have any hint as to what it might be. Hopefully we will find out at some point, because I am super curious. And then he left the ring. That is what we got for that opening segment. Now, also keep in mind that this went almost an hour, and it was commercial free, so that was very fun to see. There was some complaints that it did take so long, but I honestly think that needed to happen. So I'm okay with that. It didn't seem overly long to me. So next, what did we have? Sorry, it was a very long segment. It really was, but that's fine. We then had Shinsuke Nakamura come out, and we didn't know who he was going to be facing, but it ended up being the NXT champion, Ilya Dragunov. How cool is that? Now, at first some people thought that he was being called up, and I don't know that that's necessarily the case. I think Ilya's being at Raw last night was more just to gauge where fans' reaction was. Before you can completely move someone up from NXT or switch them from that brand, you really want to get an idea of how well Monday Night Raw and SmackDown audiences know these superstars, right? That is one way that you gauge whether or not those superstars are doing their job and are ready. Because if they're ready, then that audience already recognizes that name, they recognize the music, and they're completely, totally into that superstar. If you bring one of those NXT stars to a Monday Night Raw, to a SmackDown, and there really isn't much of a reaction, and you get that impression that the people don't really know who this is, they're not really connecting to that person, or they haven't invested in that character yet, then at that point you know, okay, we brought them in for one show, this really maybe isn't the time for them. So then you don't necessarily have them come back yet. You let them work more shows and NXT kind of build up that momentum some more, get the fans more invested in who they are. So that's, I think, what this was meant to do. And Shinsuke was a good competitor, I think, to have Ilya go up against. He picked up the win against Shinsuke, so that was nice for Ilya. And he did get a good reaction. I think people were excited to see him there, which was good for him. We then had Judgment Day come out to celebrate Rhea retaining her title and Damien's successful cash-in of his Money in the Bank contract. This was meant, I think, to be serious, right? And then you bring out R-Truth. And I love R-Truth. He is absolutely hilarious. He adds so much. He really does. So he comes out believing that he is still part of the Judgment Day. No matter how many times they have told him, you are not part of the Judgment Day. And his thing last night was, I am only one half of the Raw Tag Team Champions. I wanted to bring these back to the Judgment Day. Well, here's the thing, Truth. Judgment Day already had them. They didn't need for you to bring them back to the Judgment Day. But then Miz comes out because R-Truth wanted them to also allow Miz to join the Judgment Day. And Miz made it very clear that he had no interest in being part of the Judgment Day. This leads to the idea of a six-man tag match that is brought up by R-Truth. And Miz's question, who is the sixth person? Because I only see 3 over there and 2 over here. And Miz questioning R-Truth, who is this third person? And it better not be little Jimmy. And R-Truth is like, no, it's the guy you can't see. So immediately, everyone's mind is thinking John Cena. So they go to commercial break, and some of us are thinking that we're going to see John Cena when they come back. And we don't. But of course, when their back is against the wall, Miz was in the ring. R-Truth had been taken off of the ramp, or off of the apron, and John Cena does come out. Judgment Day didn't necessarily really think that Cena was actually going to be there. I kind of really believed that he would be, but it was a fun little moment for Judgment Day and for Awesome Truth and John Cena. They ended it up with all of them hitting the 5-knuckle shuffle with some attitude adjustments, and all three of them getting that pin 1, 2, 3 against Dominic. Oh God, I don't remember if it was Finn. Yes, Finn and McDonough. So Damien was the one that was not in the match. So that was a fun little segment for them, kind of lighthearted. Got these people on the card. You definitely get that impression that Damien and Finn are not done with this tag team championship business. I feel like they will definitely be going after these again. So we then go to discussing the main event. Okay, so the main event is going to be the Fatal 4-Way that is going to determine who is going to be going up against Damian Priest. We had Big Bronson Reed, Drew McIntyre, Ricochet, and main event Jey Uso. How fun is that? So we then had this moment with Rhea and Dominic. She is just not happy with the way things have been going with Dominic. She ends up getting attacked by Liv Morgan. So, great on Liv. She is stepping up. She has progressed a lot since going on her own. And that is definitely who Rhea's next challenger is going to be. I wondered if at Backlash they were going to do something with Becky and Rhea. But I don't see that happening. Especially not after this. And you can make that case for a Backlash match with Rhea and Liv, because Liv has a lot of beef with Rhea. She took her out for quite a while, right? So that makes sense. Build that up. There is definitely that heat and that feud there. We then have Candice LeRae came out with Indy Hartwell, and she had a match against Roxanne Perez, the NXT Women's Champion, the new NXT Women's Champion from Stand and Deliver. Amazing! This new Roxanne Perez has been great. I'm enjoying it. Roxanne took the win in this, and that I think was done more so for several reasons. One, to gauge where Roxanne's connection is with Raw fans, but also to continue things with Candice and Indy. Candice has taken on an edgier persona where she's more willing to do absolutely whatever it takes, whether it's underhanded tactics, it doesn't really matter. And Indy is not necessarily a big fan of that. She still wants to do things the right way. She, I believe, in part of this match, started digging deeper and realizing that she was not going to maybe necessarily always be able to play by the books and was maybe going to have to dig a little deeper in the playbook. We don't see any specific interaction between Indy and Lorraine as far as breaking things off at all, but Lorraine was definitely not impressed with Indy, and she let her know that. But we haven't seen a full break there yet. But I want to say that's probably where we're headed. We then have the segment with Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. That was kind of fun. Roxanne has a moment with Natalya, and that's another fun little segment. Natalya has always been an absolutely great veteran that knows what she's doing in the ring and can honestly put anyone over. And if there's anyone that can elevate someone, Natalya is definitely one of those. One of the best technical women's wrestlers that they have. So I'm glad that she is able to do those things, and I'm excited to see her on NXT tonight. So then Sami comes out. He's celebrating in the ring. He's having his great moment. Then we have Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser come out. They're looking at a 2-on-1 scenario here with Sami until Chad Gable comes out. So that was a fun little segment with Chad Gable, Sami Zayn, and then Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. This, of course, leads to Sami Zayn and Chad Gable having a conversation. First there was the tag team match that took place after that. And that was a fun little match for the four of them. We had Sami Zayn and Chad Gable picking up the victory there. The conversation that comes after that was that Sami Zayn had said that he owes Chad Gable for what he did to get him prepared for that WrestleMania match against Gunther. Because a lot of it was not just physical, but Chad mentally preparing Sami for what he was going to need to do, to get him mentally prepared for what he was going to have to face, and the only way he was going to be successful at it. So, at this point, they have set up a match for next week. We're going to see Sami Zayn and Chad Gable for the Intercontinental Championship. Sami understood exactly what Chad wanted when he said, "You owe me." And Sami was more than willing to say, you know what, if anyone deserves an opportunity at this title, it is you. You have proven you are the right person for that opportunity. You've earned it. You've more than earned it. We got a segment, a video package for Sheamus. So we are going to be getting Sheamus coming back, and that's exciting because we've missed Sheamus. He's always been a constant there in WWE, and he deserves to get a big moment himself. So hopefully we're going to get some sort of big moment for Sheamus when he comes back. We then have everybody in the Raw General Manager's office. By everyone, I mean Adam Pearce. We had Nick Aldis and Ava from NXT. They're talking to Andrade. They come off. Whoa. Excuse me. Wow. Okay. Chelsea Green comes in then, and Adam Pearce tells her, you know what, you won a moment. You didn't get one at WrestleMania. Head on out to the ring. I actually have just a spot for you. You're going to get your moment tonight. Just head on down to the ring. So she goes. And she comes down to the ring. And then Jade music hits. Now, I have mixed feelings about this. Okay, because I feel as though Chelsea has progressed somewhat. She is getting better. I can't help but feel like she deserves to be taken a little bit more seriously than she has been. And especially now when you put her in this match against Jade, which clearly she was not going to win. Okay, even though Chelsea's fairly new, Jade has just come on board, hasn't had a singles match. She was involved in the Royal Rumble. She was involved in the 6-woman tag at WrestleMania, but has not had a one-on-one match. So, to put these two in there, and you knew that it was going to be a very quick match. It was not going to be long. Jade was going to squash her. That's what was going to happen. And I just don't know if that's the place that you have to have Chelsea Green at. I feel like she deserves a little bit more. But I didn't necessarily hate it. You're trying to build Jade up. I get that. I'm not necessarily upset with the fact that Jade was on Monday Night Raw, even though she signed a contract to be on the SmackDown roster. And the reason for this is that it was also announced that at the end of April, we will be getting a WWE draft. What this means is that all of these new contracts that have been signed, Jade, Andrade, who else did we have? Randy signed a new one recently with SmackDown to go after the Bloodline. I feel like there was one more. And I'm forgetting it offhand right now. At any rate, all of those new contracts, they're kind of out the window because those people could get drafted to the other brand in this draft. So because of that draft coming at the end of the month, I don't think it's necessarily bad for Jade to show up on Monday Night Raw. She could get drafted to Raw. Becky could get drafted to SmackDown. Charlotte could come back and end up getting drafted to Raw. It's hard to say where things are going to land there. We then get ready for the 4-man match for the number 1 contendership for Damian Priest's title. This match was fun to watch. It really was. Everybody had their moments immediately. Drew's going after Jay. Bronson Reed is going after Ricochet. When you have guys like, especially Jay and Ricochet in there that are definitely those high flyers, and even Bronson Reed is not afraid to go up on that top rope and hit his tsunami, right? So all of them kind of have those aspects to them. End of the day, Jey Uso ends up picking up the victory. Now, having said that, do I think he's going to be victorious against Damian Priest? No. And we don't know for sure when this is going to take place. Maybe Backlash, maybe not. It may come before that, but more than likely Backlash. I don't think he's going to be victorious. Here's why. I don't think the story between Jimmy and Jay is done. And similar to when Jay was going after Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship, he had that won until Jimmy came out. Jimmy's not going to let Jay have a singles title run. He will do whatever it takes to prevent his brother from succeeding And that is going to include going after this World Heavyweight Championship. It is. Jay may come close to defeating Damian, but at the end of the day, there's a lot that Jay has to overcome to do this. First of all, you have the rest of the Judgment Day, who more than likely is going to interfere or at least play a part in that match, right? No matter where it's held at. Even if Finn and maybe Dominic are going after the tag titles. And I say Finn and Dominic because I don't think you keep Damian in that place if he's going to be hanging on to that heavyweight championship, right? So even if there is a Judgment Day tag match involved on that same card, you still have at least one other person, potentially two if Rhea comes out too, that are going to be interfering as well. Then you add the fact that Jimmy will probably play a part too. No, I don't see Jay winning this title. Which, I mean, it's unfortunate for Jay, but at the same time, this is the story. And I am hoping that if they do another match between Jimmy and Jay, it gets more physical than the one at WrestleMania was. Their match is good, do not get me wrong, but I was hoping for more. And I feel like they're going to continue this feud. It's not done. And the next part of that is going to be set up with this match against Damian. That's going to take it to that next level. And that's the whole purpose behind having Jay win this match, is to set up the next part of that. And it's smart that WWE does this, that even though they know that this person is not going to win, it's part of telling that story, planting each of those seeds to progress to that next match. So that's exciting for Jay, that he's going to get that opportunity at Damian's title. It should be a good match when we get there. And I'm excited to see where that goes. So as far as the title pictures go, we don't know specifically what is absolutely next for Cody. We will probably find out on SmackDown, because Cody will be there, as that is, for the most part, a SmackDown title, even though Cody is technically a Raw superstar. Doesn't matter. So we'll probably get more on that as far as what they're going to do with that. This will probably be the next to challenge Rhea, is what we learned from Raw tonight. We already know who the next contender is going to be for the IC title, and that is going to be Chad Gable, and that is going to be a hard-hitting match. I am kind of hoping, I would love to see Chad get the IC title, but at the same time, it would be nice to see Sammy get a long, purposeful title reign with that. And I feel that probably is where they're going to go. I have no doubt that Gunther is probably going to come back after that. So that is where we're going with the IC title. The tag titles, we didn't really get a clear picture as to who is maybe going to be the next people to go after that. Potentially 2 members of Judgment Day, maybe. We didn't really see anything else from tag teams last night, so probably Judgment Day going back after them. Last but not least, Damian's title, we now know Jey Uso will be the first contender for that. Now, the fun part with this is that we did get more set up for Drew's next match. I feel kind of bad that he had only just maybe a couple of minutes with that title in front of the fans Sunday night, but at the same time, they are setting up beautifully that feud between him and CM Punk. And CM Punk got involved again last night, costing Drew that chance at Damian's title. So, setting that up perfectly as well inside that match. And you have to be able to do both of those things. You have to be able to start to tell that story as to who's going to be the number 1 contender for that, while at the same time, with the people you have involved in that match, being able to set up those other feuds and continue those storylines as well. And I feel like WWE did that well with Drew and CM Punk, both at Mania and last night on Monday Night Raw. Alright, we will see you guys on Saturday. I should be able to do my video for SmackDown on Sunday, or Saturday or Sunday. Not 100% sure, honestly, because I'm going to have to watch SmackDown. I'm not going to be able to watch it live because I will be working, but I will definitely Friday night start to watch it, finish that up probably Saturday, and then maybe Saturday night do my video. We will see, but I'm going to try to get that out for you because I do want to be consistent. Please let me know whether you're enjoying this or not, whether you agree, disagree. Would love to have some conversation. We will see you guys next time.